Hi guys, welcome to Office Blokes React. I'm Office Bloke Dave.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
Office Bloke Daz. Together we are the Office Blokes.
Yes.
It's true. We've still got this competition running to win this very hat. You just need to go to our Cardi B Bongos lyric read through and type Mike's Bongos and be subscribed to the channel. That is it.
Easy.
Mike's back, by the way.
No, his bongos are on the front.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I am.
Yeah, we were talking about your son's band. While you were away.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Did a bit of PR for him.
Yeah, excellent.
Thought someone should do.
What are they called, Mike?
Spangled.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Way to
Yeah,
sell
go
him.
listen to him.
I know, right? Go listen to him.
My bro used to have written on his bedroom wall when he was a teenager, Spangalactic Cargill Blaster.
What's that mean?
Absolute
It
nonsense.
was an anagram to Dave.
I think he was just really, really stoned and he just wrote Spangalactic Gargle Blaster. So that's kind of like, that could be the name of their album.
If it was, well, if it fit
Spangled
on there.
Spangalactic Gargle Blaster.
It's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? But
Have to go on the 12-inch.
yeah.
Hey.
Might not be a bad idea, that.
Right then, what do you reckon the 10 worst towns are to live in the States in
States.
2024?
Say Rochdale be on there.
Yeah.
It's,
Oldham.
is there a Rochdale in the States somewhere? Because
Oldham,
it'd be
definitely
so
Oldham.
grim.
Ooh.
10 worst towns to live in.
There's a lot of...
It's
There's a lot
St.
of
Louis.
The World According to Briggs, which is obviously a channel we've done quite a bit with these sort of compilations.
I think that World According to Briggs guy sort of like leans in towards like not liking places like Memphis, St. Louis, Louis, whatever you want to say it.
Is that
Baltimore.
Is St. Louis a town, not a city?
I think towns and cities. I don't think they differentiate much like we do over here with the
Right,
cathedral.
Yeah. Right.
Well, let's find out then. The 10 worst towns to live in 2024. Let's get into it.
Imagine a town where the sun rarely shines, the economy has seen better days, and the only thing on the rise is the violent crime rate. The United States boasts some of the world's most enchanting towns. Today, we look at the other side of that coin. Get ready to venture into towns that time and perhaps fortune forgot. Welcome to our countdown on the worst towns in the United States. Number 10, Fairbanks, Alaska. Now, technically, Fairbanks is a city, but we're calling them towns because we're only looking at places under 50,000. We'll save cities for when we do the really big cities, like Chicago, LA, things like that. But ever find yourself yearning for a taste of true north? Want to buy a home in a place where the sun never seems to set and the winter tests your sanity? Let me introduce you to Fairbanks, Alaska, also known as the Golden Heart City. Tucked away in the interior of Alaska, Fairbanks is a dream come true for every chilly weather enthusiast and people who like to be violently assaulted. Yeah, it's a little dangerous here, and I'm not even talking about the bear, moose, or squirrels. Fairbanks does get cold. The temperature actually drops faster than my motivation to exercise the day after Cinco de Mayo. If nothing else, Fairbanks has dispelled one rumor or theory, whatever you want to call it, that cold weather places don't have high crimes. I guess in Fairbanks, it's never too cold for manslaughter. If you want to visit Fairbanks, be careful and pack a parka. You're going to need it. You want to get a home in Fairbanks, Alaska? It'll set you back $288,350. The violent crime rate in Fairbanks, Alaska is 127% above the national average. And they got a higher than average cost of living. Put all that together with the cold and the isolation, they get on this list.
What's the average house price in the UK?
It's about 280,000, I think.
Which would be like $320,000, $330,000, something like that.
Yeah.
It's 260, 280.
Yeah.
Wow.
Number 10, Muskogee, Oklahoma. Muskogee is a city steeped in history and
He's done 2 number 10s.
Yes, you're right.
What's that?
Did he just say, he said number 10 again, didn't he?
the isolation, they get on this list. Number 10, Muskogee, Oklahoma. Muskogee is a city steeped in history and cultural significance located in eastern Oklahoma. Established during the Indian Territory era, the city became a focal point for trade, culture, and communication for various Native American tribes that were relocated to the region. The name Muskogee itself derives from the Creek people, one of the 5 civilized tribes that were forcibly moved to the area during the 19th century. Now, it's been quite a few years since I've been there, so I was a little surprised at this one. I didn't really see it as a problem when I was there last. But apparently their violent crime rate's pretty high, and they're dealing with some serious poverty issues. Their poverty rate is 56% higher than the national average. The good news, it's pretty cheap to live here. Houses are cheap, Everything else is cheap. Don't know if you'd want any of it. Their violent crime rate is 154% above the national average. The good news is the average home here goes for about $130,000.
Wow.
Wow, it's a lot less, isn't it?
I wonder what the threshold is for violent crime. You know, is that someone getting chinned in the pub, or does it have to be like a
gunshot?
Yeah. Yeah, because you think like Fairbanks, Alaska, maybe if everyone's indoors because it's cold, drinking in the bars, there might be some bar fights.
Yeah.
That could skew that.
I would guess even being threatened, like with a baseball bat or something, that would probably still be classed as violent crime, I'm guessing. Would it?
Would you
even if it's not been used, I think it may be still classed as that, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I'd just like to know what the threshold is.
Yeah,
like
I know what you mean.
how soft are they being on that, or are they being like someone has to? You have to draw blood.
Yeah.
Number 8, East St. Louis, Illinois. Yep, right across from St. Louis, you got East St. Louis, and I'm sure the people of St. Louis would like to blow the bridge so people from East St. Louis can't get back over. East St. Louis is located in southwestern Illinois, and it stands as a historically significant city with roots reaching deep into the American history books. The only thing separating them from St. Louis is the Mississippi River and a brighter future. East St. Louis has been known as a very dangerous place to live for about 5 decades now. It's almost like they got to a point and they just gave up on trying to fix it. Statistically speaking, it is almost impossible to keep getting worse without accidentally making a right step and getting a little bit better. They never seem to get better. That's why I think they're actually doing this on purpose. Their poverty rate in 2022 was 29.3%. The national average at that time was 12.8%. I'd like to go there and show them how to run their town a little bit better, but I don't have the time or the crayons. There is one bright spot about East St. Louis, though. Are you ready for it? This is kind of weird and kind of alarming. The average home value here is $35,000.
Wow.
You probably don't want the house, but that's their average, $35,000. If you survive a year, I'll be surprised. The violent crime rate in East St. Louis is 163% above the national average.
I always wonder when house prices are like that, why a consortium of people that want to live as a community can't get together. That's a nice way of saying cult. But just buy up all the houses and just
do them all
just
up.
Make the place nice by default by moving in 10,000 nice people.
And what are they going to do for work? That 10,000 nice people.
OnlyFans. I don't know. I suppose that's St. Louis is just across the bridge.
Yeah.
Is it a commute?
Yeah, it would be, but again, what are you going to do with all the idiots that live there? The wrong'uns.
Still surrounded by
Wrong'uns.
the wrong'uns,
Who now see more opportunity to rob you.
Buy the houses.
Exactly, yeah.
That's what you do with them. You buy the houses off
And where do they go?
wherever they want to take the 35 grand.
But it's a good thought.
That's on them.
I think we tried it in places over
Liverpool.
here before, like Liverpool, haven't we? Where,
£2.
Yeah.
Well,
you know,
£1 houses,
it was something
wasn't it?
like that, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sold the entire street, but I'm not sure whether it worked or not.
Didn't. I think
it's
there's only like 3 people lived on them, didn't
because
they?
still like the surrounding area, people don't want to live there, do they?
Oh, it was grim.
It's like you'd have to spend a fortune doing them up.
We had to. You buy the house for £1, and you had to spend. I think it was 40 grand on
Minimum
it.
spend on it.
I think it was a minimum spend of 40 grand
Yeah.
doing them up. And some people were buying 2 or 3 in a row and spending 40 grand, 120 grand across the 3 houses and having like a big house on a terrace sort of thing. But then it just sort of like didn't work because the rest of them were shit.
Yeah,
if it's
exactly,
not if it's not done en masse, if you can't guarantee that there's 200 good families going to move into that area, then it's going to fail.
But you're still going to have the people that live there. They ain't going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
They're just going to move to another neighbourhood in that vicinity.
Yeah,
Still people that don't want to do the house up, don't want to spend or don't want to invest in the area.
And then what happens is 200 people come in and they start buying up houses. The one that's living there for 35 grand says, hang on a minute, I'll stay here because my house price is going to go up.
Yeah.
So he ain't moving, but then he sees opportunity to rob you.
Do you think? No, I'm not going to say that. There's quite a lot of there's little villages in Italy that there's
same.
no one there, isn't there?
Yeah, same, yeah.
And it's like £10,000 per house, but then you have to spend X amount.
Yeah.
Very similar
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And I always wonder why a community of people, like 100 families, don't just get together and just go and do it. You could make it work if enough people did it.
Go for it.
Sometimes
I
there's a
don't know
reason.
100
Get
people.
your 100 families from Norwich.
Sometimes there's usually
Do us all a favour.
That's why everyone moves to Northwich for the cheap houses, isn't it?
Number 7, Flint, Michigan. Flint, Michigan is located about 70 miles northwest of Detroit, and it holds a significant place in American industrial history. Throughout the 20th century, Flint was a hub of automobile manufacturing and was notably the home of General Motors. This industrial prominence once made it a symbol of American manufacturing strength and provided well-paying jobs for thousands of residents. Yeah, then things went south. I mean, really south, like Antarctica south. Flint's challenges didn't stop at economic issues. In the 2010s, the city faced a major public health crisis when it was discovered that its water supply was contaminated with lead. Despite these challenges, they still got people living there. Like East St. Louis, they do have a bright spot. You can buy a home here for under $50,000. Not really sure if you'd want this one either, but they're there for you for about 50 grand. You gotta chase the hobos out yourself. Now, if you don't get killed by the lead in the drinking water, which they're cleaning up now, you could get killed by lead another way. Their violent crime rate is 169% above the national average. Number 6, the city of Commerce, California. Most people just call it Commerce. This is a city located in Southern California in the Los Angeles metro area. It's actually just southeast of downtown. For the most part, this whole area is industrial stuff and warehouses, so a lot of weird crap goes on around there. These days, it's one of those hot spots for the homeless people that are living in their vans. There's no river, but they're living in their vans. And most of that goes on down near the warehouses. They got train tracks here on both sides of the town. Now, what's really strange about Commerce is the areas where they actually have homes, they're not that bad. The homes are well maintained and they're nice. They're built in probably the 1950s, late 40s for the most part, but it's nice neighborhoods. It's just those warehouses, the train tracks, that's where it's dangerous and that's where it's ugly. In typical California fashion, this is a bad neighborhood, but the homes are expensive. The average home here goes for $634,000. And honestly, for Los Angeles, that's kind of cheap. For the rest of the country, that's terribly expensive. The violent crime rate in Commerce, California is 177% above the national average. The poverty rate here is only a couple percentage points above the national average, so that's not bad. Just that violent crime rate. Number 5, Danville, Illinois. Danville, Illinois is a city rich in history and cultural significance. Located in Vermilion County in the eastern part of the state, Danville was established in the early 19th century and became a pivotal industrial hub during the 20th century, notably in the coal mining sector. Danville is south of Chicago and north of Terre Haute, Indiana. Danville has a population of about 32,000 residents. Now, I always tell you, if its cost of living is low and the housing is cheap, everything else is going to suck, and this is a perfect example. The average home here goes for $67,000. If you want to rent a house here, 2-bedroom house, 1 bathroom, you're looking at about $600 a month. But for that price, you get a couple things: danger, depression, and a whole bunch of vacant stores. It's really too bad. This was once a very nice city and very prosperous. These days, they can't even keep the roads maintained. You know, it breaks my heart when I see things like this. They have some beautiful buildings, these beautiful brick buildings, and it sucks. This place sucks. 30% of the people that live in this town are under the poverty line. Buckle up for this one. Their violent crime rate is 351% above the national average. Bunch of overachievers.
Wow. That's a lot.
Reminded me quite a lot of a UK town, that just in terms of all the empty shops.
Yeah, that's what you're seeing now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Our towns now, they're turning more residential.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm going anywhere now and you're travelling around different towns, you're looking and you're thinking these high streets now, there's no shops going. They're turning all the shops into residential.
Yeah.
And having having residential above and then underneath they're doing like small retail units that'll house like cafes, barbershops, nail salons.
Definitely a lot more of those without a doubt. Yeah. I mean, it's a good idea because it gets a population into the towns as well, doesn't it? Which in turn bring more prosperity.
They need cafes,
Then
small
more
bars.
Cafes,
yeah.
Exactly, yeah. But look, I know a lot of them locally, they're building above, aren't they?
All of them.
Refurbishing above, aren't they? Making them into apartments and stuff. So I think it's great.
You think how many people live there residentially? It wasn't many, and now it's quite vibrant now because everyone's moved in.
Yeah.
If you think about all the peripheral pubs that are in the middle of towns where there's no shops, and it's like housing estate with a pub in the middle, they're the ones that are dying off in terms of pubs, aren't they?
Yeah, without a doubt.
So moving people into the town centre to try and keep what's left of that industry alive, but then new pubs, new bars, restaurants open up because of it.
Yeah, well, especially small independent ones.
Yeah, because locally most of them are smaller bars, aren't they now? Just like, one room below. That's not like these big sprawling massive bars or anything at all, are they? So
The Hare and Hounds is
Back
not
up for sale.
It's not getting knocked down, is it?
Is it not?
No,
Sorry, it's today up for sale
Yeah,
as well. On one
so-
of the sites I was looking at something. It was up for sale
It's a
yesterday.
bit of a local one, this, for us, but a big pub that's been there for decades.
Yeah.
It's when I was in school.
It's a huge landmark, isn't it?
There's a compulsory purchase order on it, even though it was a busy pub, so they could build an old people's home. And now the planning permission's fallen through for the old people's home, so now it's back on the market as a pub.
Yeah.
Even though it was run operationally as a successful pub, and then they forced it to shut down, and now they want it to be a pub again.
I'm not sure how successful it was.
It was pretty busy. They had a good carvery
Monday and
there.
Sundays.
In its day, it was when I was first starting out, when I was late teens, early 20s, it was like one of the places to go. Everyone used to go there, especially at
Yeah,
weekends.
yeah.
It used to be really, really busy. But yeah, last year or two, it's really
Since it's turned
died
into a
down.
carvery.
But
Shite.
it won't open up
Yeah.
again as a pub now, I
It
don't
will.
think.
It's up for sale as a pub.
Yeah, I know, but whether someone will take it on, it's a huge space.
It
The
is.
cost associated with it.
Maybe they can do something else with it. Think outside the box. I don't know. It's a
a
great
restaurant.
landmark. Everyone knows where it is.
Yeah, it'd be a restaurant that buys that. It's got a good park, car park, everything. Anyway,
Could do.
there you have it.
Number
Tons
4,
of-
Gallup, New Mexico. Gallup is often referred to as the heart of Indian country, and it stands as a vibrant testament to Native American culture and heritage. Now, it's situated west of Albuquerque. These days, you can find a lot of really interesting Native American arts. Navajo weaving, Zuni jewelry. If that's your thing, this is a great place for it. Gallup is surrounded by red sandstone cliffs and mesas. Gallup is not just a hub for commerce, but it's also a haven for outdoor enthusiasts, especially if you're really into getting shot at, because a lot of that goes on here. And it's not just because they have guns and they want to use them. They've got a lot of problems here, poverty being one of them. About 30% of their population lives below the poverty line. Want to buy a house? It's about $200,000. Now, when I give you that price, that's kind of like the average. It goes up and it goes down, but that's about the average. Gallup, in my opinion, I've been there quite a few times, actually probably a dozen times in my life. Most recently, it wasn't even a trip I wanted to be on, had a train breakdown in Gallup. Ended up staying there like 12 hours. Luckily, I wasn't assaulted. Their violent crime rate is 387% above the national average. Number 3, Pine Bluff, Arkansas. You know, sometimes I start to feel bad for some of these towns because they just show up on all the negative lists and they just continue to. Pine Bluff is a perfect example of something that never gets better. Pine Bluff is situated in southeastern Arkansas, and it's the largest city in Jefferson County. It's also the county seat. This town used to be a hub for transportation, agriculture, and trade. It sits on the Arkansas River and has plenty of train tracks going through it. Almost 40% of Pine Bluff's population lives below the poverty line. If you did move here for some reason, you want to buy a house, you're looking at about $80,000. The violent crime rate in Pine Bluff, Arkansas is 433% above the national average.
What's going on there?
Every single picture was just grey and miserable.
Yeah.
It was on it.
Yeah.
Couldn't find a nice picture.
Oh, yeah,
of the
that's
That's
sun.
why. That's why it's in the shithole that it is. You know,
It's just
It'd be like if you come round Manchester and you sort of like started filming around Gorton, you'd be like, what have I come to here?
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
if you took that and went to Hale,
Yeah.
places like that, and you started filming, everyone would be like, wow, different. You might be
The
different
sun had come
countries.
out as
yeah,
well.
The sun had come
Yeah,
out,
true. Yeah.
That's what Ash said when she moved here from Zimbabwe. She said she expected to be moving to like quaint country cottages and nice weather and stuff.
Yeah.
And the first place she lived was in the middle of Withington on one of the council estates.
Not quite that then.
Yeah, and she's like, it's just grey and miserable.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't the England I was told England was.
Yeah, it's like I was saying, I was showing you that guy before who says this is how people perceive the English to be like.
Yeah.
And it's like everything's Downton Abbey and, you know, we all know each other.
Yeah.
Small little villages.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
and all
right.
that.
Number 2, Saginaw, Michigan. Saginaw is not a place we talk about much. Obviously, when you're talking about Michigan, Detroit's going to get all the action. Saginaw has a rich history that spans from its days as a thriving fur trading post to lumber and then the auto industries. It is situated in the eastern part of Michigan. Saginaw played a vital role during the 19th century as a primary hub for lumber, given its strategic location near dense forests and the Saginaw River. By the 20th century, the lumber resources diminished and the city swiftly transitioned to manufacturing, especially in the automotive sector, with companies like General Motors. Now, it's gotten a little bit better. It's nowhere near where it needs to be to where you'd want to actually move there. I mean, it's dangerous, they don't have jobs, and it gets bitterly cold in the winter. The good news, the cost of living's low and a house will run you about $116,000. But that's to be expected when 35% of your population lives below the poverty line. The violent crime rate in Saginaw, Michigan is 487% above the national average, and that's not even the worst. All right, before we get to number 1, don't forget, we have a channel we just started up a couple months ago called The Sweet Life for Briggs. I'm finally finishing up some videos. We're going to start uploading there. Go over, take a look. It's a bunch of travel stuff. If that's your thing, please subscribe.
Have we got any guesses for number 1?
It's hard because some of these are like small towns, aren't they?
Yeah, I've never heard of the vast majority of these.
I'm thinking it's going to be in. I know he always has. When I've watched World According to Briggs before, he always has a beef with Memphis and St. Louis.
Right, okay. So I think somewhere in those areas.
But we've had East St.
Louis,
Louis.
Yeah.
So, I know he's got a beef with Memphis as well. I've heard him talk about Memphis and put it down a few times.
Right.
So it could be an area of Memphis.
Yeah.
Baltimore's a city.
Baltimore's a city, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the States is potentially too big to sustain that many major population centres, and that's where some of them are losing industry and stuff, and everyone moves to another one.
Sometimes when the industry goes, isn't it? Especially, automotive industries, when they leave a town, something can absolutely decimate them.
It's usually quite populated, isn't it? You're looking at the growth of Austin, for example, now. Austin's growing, quite rapidly.
Yeah.
And it's becoming like a popular town for everybody. And then if people that have moved to Austin, if they all of a sudden move away for whatever reason, because what happens is governments get greedy. Especially local governments and stuff like that. They'll get greedy and they'll start seeing things and they're thinking, well, we're not charging enough tax. So all of a sudden they start taxing it, and all of a sudden everyone goes, well, we're not staying here now, we're going to go somewhere where there's more incentive.
It's cheaper.
And it'll probably be a big cycle. It'll probably end up back in like Detroit or Michigan, somewhere like that, a big industry. And that'll thrive again, and then in maybe 100 years' time or however long. It's good to know this. I'm going to the USA next month. Well, a month and a half.
Yeah.
Nice. Any of these places?
All of them.
All of them.
You're doing a tour.
Booked in.
I'm going to buy loads of property. I'm going to take all my 200 family.
We've not had Gary.
Indiana.
That's what I was trying to think of. Gary, that's it. I was trying to think of the name of it.
Yeah.
Go and buy a whole street there and just sit on it for 10 years.
All right, on to number 1. And number 1, Monroe, Louisiana. Monroe, Louisiana is nestled in the northeastern part of Louisiana. It is an essential hub for culture, economic, and educational activities. That's what their website says. Okay, I guess maybe they do those things, but I imagine you don't have much time for all that when you're trying not to get killed. This town was founded in 1785, and in its glory days was a stop for steamboats on the Ouachita River. Monroe is home to the University of Louisiana at Monroe, and it's one of those cities you really wish it would be better, because it's a really nice looking place with their old architecture. It's got a lot of good history, just not a lot of good things that are going on there. Nearly 40% of this town lives below the poverty line. Because of that, you could buy a home for $134,000. Now, sit down for this one because it's brutal. Their violent crime rate is 585% above the national average. There were beaches in the Normandy invasion that had a lower rate of violence.
Jesus.
Wow.
All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information.
It's
40% of the population below the poverty line. That's
a lot, isn't it?
It's a lot, isn't it? It really is.
But when you think about the population, what is it? Anything under 50,000. So you're talking 20,000 people, 20,000 people below the poverty line. If it's a shit, you look at if you went around here and you went around Wythenshawe, how many people would be living below the poverty line? Don't know what the population is.
Yeah, I guess so. It's quite big, really, isn't it? Yeah, it's a huge place.
It's the biggest council estate in Europe.
Yeah, it's massive. Yeah.
So it's so when you take that into consideration, how many people will actually be living below the poverty line? I bet it's the majority.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So it's them numbers probably don't
below the poverty line with big widescreen TVs.
Oh, they've all
still have all that.
75 inch, and they've all got the iPhones and the PS5s.
Yeah. Everyone's got a motorbike for some reason without a number plate on it.
What else are you going to buy your stuff?
Yeah, I do think it seems like, because it's such a vast place for the population of 350 million, is it? The States
387,
380 something like that. Yeah. You think of that landmass versus places like, China, where they've squeezed so many more people into a small area, and you think towns that were bustling because of one thing can't sustain it. Everything falls apart. Everyone moves to another town. Maybe there's too many.
But it happens everywhere throughout the world. It's happened over here with the mines, didn't it? When all the mines started shutting down, there's a load of mining towns, and in the Middlesbrough area, we're all shipping, just gone to pot completely.
We've got the advantage of only being 20, 30 miles away not even that. It's not far to get to another town or to a major city or something. Whereas it might be.
Well, we are a major city, and it's we started the Industrial Revolution and things like that. It's for 40 for Britain.
Yeah.
But what you've got to look at is the UK's become very southern. Favoured, if you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
So everything they do now is all in the south and London. They get everything. Yeah. Whereas in the north we get nothing. It's as if like they're trying to make a divide.
They're even doing it with the HS2 now, aren't they? Thinking of like sacking off the Birmingham to Manchester.
Yeah, we don't get anything ridiculous up here. And I'm sure these towns and cities in the I'm sure these towns in states there where you look at somewhere like Louisiana, where he's talking there that what was it called, Monroe something like that. Where he's talking somewhere like that, and you look at what maybe someone like Baton Rouge might get with a college town where LSU is, and on things like, you might get, where New Orleans, sort of like they'll probably get more money because they earn more money. So they'll probably get bigger things. Right, where someone like there, would be like, that's where all they've done. Go and live over there. Yeah. Don't know if you're looking for a house, we'll put you there. That's where you're going to be. So that's where your social housing and all that's going to be. Yeah. We're not putting you in New Orleans. We're not putting you in Baton Rouge. We're going to stick you there. That's where you're going to go.
Yeah, probably right.
It's interesting.
Which is what you do here. You go to the council and say, I need a house. They're not going to say, do you know what? We've got Bowden, Hale Barnes, Hale, or Wythenshawe. Which one do you want? They're going to say, you've got a Wythenshawe, mate. Yeah. Take it or leave it, or Stretford.
Yeah.
It depends how long you've been here, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If you've been here 5 years.
Yeah, that's a fair point, actually. Yeah. If you're recent arrival, then Hale Barnes, straight in, with a car.
Or hotel in Hale Village.
I'll tell you something that would really wind people up as well, and this is something in the news. I saw one the other day where a migrant had come in, and she turned down 10 houses because they didn't have parking.
Hey?
And illegal migrants come in, they offered her 10 different houses, and she turned them down because there was no parking.
Wow.
I'm like, wow. Mm-hmm. And we've got a homeless situation with veterans and all that kind of stuff. And this migrants recently into the country, illegally, gets offered 10 houses.
Wow.
Turns them all down.
I'm gonna bite my lip on this one because I'd rather not get in trouble on YouTube for now.
I was just like, wow.
It's shocking. It's shocking.
Beggars and choosers and all that, right?
Yeah. Wow.
But anyway, let us know what your bad sounds are around you in the comments, and make sure we don't visit them.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed it. We'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers. Guys.